Tell people why they should be happy that life is unfair.
Oh, yeah, life is. You should be unhappy because otherwise there's no fucking point in making the effort. Good example is we were talking about this, Jimmy, the other day. I've quickly get it up actually, says he, thinking of homeless people. There was I want to make sure I've got the right, get my facts right before we start laughing about this twat. Where is it? So here we go. CEO secrets. This is on the BBC website. The guy's named, so his company, I'm not going to, it's Calvin Benton, psychotherapy company called Spill. And it's like a case study, I suppose. And people can read it if they want. Just go to the BBC website. We could drop the link somewhere, or they can just Google fucking CEO secrets or something. But basically, this guy started a psychotherapy company and they decided to pay everyone the same amount, no matter what job they did. They paid everyone from the CEO on down to the fucking janitor, I suppose, the same amount, 36k, thinking this is fair. And of course, it all fell apart because people who have more ability, more merit, or of more value to the company should be paid more. They just should. Now, let's be clear about this. We're talking about their value to the company, not their value as human beings. So the guy, say, who is making sales and maybe he's bringing in to the company 100k a month, a year, is worth more to the company than the cleaner, because that's more of a skilled job as well. So while it's not true to say the cleaner's job is less important, because it's not, because if you don't have cleaners, you can't have a business. You're not allowed to. The law will stop you because it's all part of health and safety. So the cleaner's job is important, of course it is. But the simple fact is, regardless of your opinions or emotions about this, the simple fact is anyone can do the cleaning job. Not anyone can do the sales job, but they can learn to do the sales job, can't they? So you can and should fucking be rewarded for the results of your efforts. That's fair. What's not fair, I mean, what we're talking about here is like is a quality of opportunity, equity almost. What we're not talking about, and what is fundamentally fucking wrong, and we'll see why it's unworkable in a minute, what's fundamentally wrong is saying everyone should have equality of result just because it's fair. It's not. It is not fair that someone puts in a lot of time, effort, and work into achieving a result and gets rewarded the same as someone who just goes home at 5 o'clock and does nothing more than push a broom around. That's just true. That's not fair. And it cannot work because of what I've talked about before. We had a quick conversation before this podcast, because businesses, economies, societies, they're all complex adaptive systems, and that the order comes from the behavior of individual units. And what they try to do, and this is actually, this is also relevant to GameStop, which is hilarious. What people try to do is they try to enforce order on these systems from the top down, and it never works. It seems to work, but what actually happens is the systems become more erratic and more unstable, which I know seems contradictory, but it's not. Complex adaptive systems get their structure and their order from their freedom. When you start constraining them, these systems become extremely vulnerable. That's why socialism can never work and never has done and never will. It cannot work. And the stricter they get with the socialism or the communism, looking at you, North Korea, the more fragile the system becomes until eventually it either has to be propped up from the outside or it falls apart. There's not a single socialist country in the world that can subsist, or exist rather, without outside influence being propped up. North Korea is communist, but it amounts to the same kind of thing. The Soviet Union fell apart. Cuba was supported from the outside. Even countries like Norway, which are heavily socialist, they're supported from the outside by oil. They've got a constant stream of external revenue coming in. You know, another thing, this is why capitalism is really the best way we know so far to ensure stability and what's the word? Not wealth. Begins with a P. Not profits. Prosperity.
There we go.
Because we have trade. And what happens is when trade doesn't cross borders, as it often doesn't in these countries when they're locked down and they're heavily regulated, armies do. When trade doesn't cross borders, armies do. This is why North Korea is rattling fucking sabers now. This is why China and India dropped their fundamentally communist stroke socialist models and became much more capitalist because they were falling apart. It's just fucking nonsense. And so unfairness, you want to be fucking glad of it because unfairness brings stability. You know, what people call unfairness, I actually think it's fair you get rewarded on merit. That's fair.
Of course it is.
So it's fair that some people have more than others. That's always going to be the case. That is fair. Okay. Now, maybe there is an element of unfairness, which is really sucks. Like, you know, kids struck down with cancer. That's fucking unfair. And we know it's unfair. But hey, like we said at the beginning, the universe doesn't give a shit about you. The universe is decreed in its random way that kid's going to get cancer, and it fucking sucks, but there's bugger all we can do about it.